Hey, everybody, welcome to episode 43 of The Geek Perspective. I am your host, Roy, and along with my co host, Derek, who's sitting next to me because he doesn't want to go home, and Tom, we are reviewing Hereditary today. So, what do you guys got going on?
What's going on, Roy? How you doing today, buddy?
Ah, doing good. A little cold here.
Yeah, chilly today.
Wee bit nippy.
Hey, did you lose power at all? I heard some of Brockton lost heat and
Um,
power.
Here the lights flickered for like 2 seconds. The internet went out last night for about 2 minutes. And then I actually went out to run some errands about 7 o'clock. And Tom, you know my area. I went to our local Stop and Shop in Shaw's.
Yep.
Everything was black. Everything,
Oh yeah.
the lights were out. I'm like, oh, I guess they lost power. So
yeah, my work last night, not at ours. It's happened before where a transformer's exploded in a bad storm, but the business, because we're in an industrial complex in Mansfield, and yeah, one of the transformers across the street for another warehouse, it blew up last night, man. Fire department. It was luckily we were good. It's happened before, and we just had to sit in the dark until the power comes back on so we can finish doing the work. So, but we made it out, luckily.
my grill actually tipped over.
Oh, I believe that. My trash was all tipped over this morning.
That's totally insane. Totally ridiculous.
I gotta say though, it's been a pretty mild winter, which people say we're lucky. I maybe it's lucky, maybe it's a bad sign that that the climate's getting crazy, but it's been a mild winter. I mean, what have we had? Maybe a total of 6-8 inches all winter of snow.
It's been a really good winter.
Yeah.
How about you, Derek? What's going on with you?
Super tired. Been going to bed at 1 and waking up at 5:30.
Oh, you poor baby. Our little baby tired.
Doing a double tomorrow.
What? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I wish I was.
All right, let's get into some small talk here. I got some pop news for everyone today. Bush Pops. Popculture.com. That's popcultcha.com is having a pre-order of a Bushfire Heroes Pop, which the money is going to the fires in Australia. So it's all going to a good cause. It's going to the RSPCA, National Bushfire. And the pop is pretty cool. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it.
Yeah.
It's a fireman, and there's a koala clinging to his leg. Very cool pop. I'm thinking about ordering one. And it's good. Money goes to a good cause. So
yeah. Pop Culture is out of Australia. The company, and actually this pop, most of their exclusive pops, can't be they do not ship directly to the United States. They'll ship to the other rest of the world, but not the United States, because we get most first run exclusive pops. But so in order to get a Pop Culture exclusive and stuff, you usually have to get a reshipper, and it costs quite a bit of money. But this one, for anybody that's out there, you do not need a reshipper. They will send directly from Pop Culture. I believe it's I believe it comes out to $12 American for the shipping. I think somebody said they paid like 22 or 24 to have it shipped from there. Not terrible if you think about it. It's coming halfway across the world, and like Roy said, it's for a great cause. The devastation that's happened over in Australia. So, no reshipper needed for that one. You go to their site, it'll be in Australian dollars, and you just do a quick Google convert, and you'll see how much it costs. But sorry, Roy,
jump on in, Derek. What are you going to say, Derek? How many are you going to order? 5, 6?
Well, I did see that one quite a bit on Facebook the last couple of weeks, but I also saw brand new Pokemon Pops.
Oh, of course you did. Of course you did.
They're going to come out with 4 new Pokemon Pops. It's going to be a Pichu, a Mewtwo, a Mr. Mime, and a Vulpix.
Did you see the Dragon Ball Z pop? I think it was. He's eating ramen noodles.
Did I see that one? No, I might have saw a different anime one.
Is that Goku?
But it was probably Goku.
Is he from Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, he's the main
I was
character.
right. Holy
He's the main character of the show.
what? I was right. Yeah, and I will say, it actually is a cool little pop. It's a freaking cool pop. He's sitting on the floor and he's got a bowl of ramen noodles. I'm like, that's pretty awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty awesome.
So I read a interesting thing, kind of hurts my soul a little bit about Funko. So in the month of January this year of 2020, Funko released 86 pops. 86, where because people are talking about them flooding the market, the overproduction. Apparently, they have like $17 million worth or $7 million or $17 million worth of overstock that they have to just like throw away. People are trying to get them to donate and stuff because it's become such big business that they just overproduce, kind of like, people are saying it's going to be the next Beanie Baby, which I don't think it will. But 86 individual different pops in the month of January, and that doesn't even include all the ones that they announced from that toy fair that you had been seeing, all you know what I mean, all the announcements that are coming out throughout the year. 86 in a month.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
You getting all 86?
Me? God, no. I have not bought a pop since I picked that the Kylo Ren up for Roy. So that's been almost a month now.
And I keep saying we're gonna do a little review on those two pops, the Kylo Ren and Darth Vader. Will one of you guys make me pull it down here next week?
Yes.
Next week, come hell or high water, we're gonna review the Darth Vader Light and Sound pop and the Kylo Ren Light and Sound pop. Both very good pops. They've already been opened, but I'm going to review them next week with you guys. So tune in. Tell all your friends. Tell all your girlfriends. Tell your boyfriends. Tell whoever. Come check it out. It's going to be awesome.
Nice.
All right, so in some movie news, we're going to get away from the pops before Derek has more anime pops to talk about. We have some Disney news about some release dates for the original shows, WandaVision, and it's set to release in December, and it stars Paul Bettany, Jesus, Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen revising their roles of Vision and Scarlet Witch from the MCU. And I don't know if you guys have seen any clips or previews. They had a preview during the Super Bowl. It's going to be a blend of classic sitcoms, it looks like. I've never read the comic. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. They were showing some clips on YouTube, and I'm like, So we'll have to see how that actually goes. And it ties into apparently Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, because Elizabeth Olsen also starring in that. So people are wondering if they're somehow tied together somehow, which is why they're doing the classic sitcom thing, where the madness is part of the TV show. Also, Falcon and Winter Soldier release dates keeps changing. Originally, it was set for the fall, and then recently it was set for August, and then someone said it's set for the fall again. Well, the company has just said that it's definitely the plan right now to release it in August, and this seems to be changing on a weekly basis. So hopefully, this is a show I am so looking forward to because it has so much going on, so many cool characters. So this is a show I am definitely needs to come out in August. It better be out in August. I'm going to be a little ticked off if it isn't.
But if they say it comes out in fall, it's only like another month.
I don't care. I want it now. I don't want to wait till August. I'm very impatient.
It's not like the Sonic the Hedgehog movie where they redid the whole thing and pushed it back 3 months or 4 months or whatever.
That was kind of ridiculous too.
But at least they listened to the fans.
Well, they look horrible the first time.
Really did.
But also the most important show, The Mandalorian 2, Season 2, is set for October. And you guys need to watch The Mandalorian. It was a great show. It had the baby in there. I call him Baby Yoda. You're going to watch it. And yes, I pre-ordered the Baby Yoda Pop, which will be a national unboxing on this show when I get it. So that will be an unboxing. Guaranteed.
Will you get it before season 2?
Yes, it's coming in May.
Nice. Very nice.
Supposedly. We'll see.
It'll get pushed back.
Yeah, exactly. So Superman and Lois is also a thing, which Dirk knew nothing about somehow. It's a DC show, and Dirk knew nothing. Some fan you are.
Yep.
And it's going to be coming out, I think, next fall. And apparently, one of the big things is their sons. The sons are going to be aged to teenage boys.
So is this going to be like?
So are they going to age
12
themselves
years in the future?
Was that? Well, that's I'm like, well, how's this going to work? Are they going to age them? Is everybody in the whole universe going to? That seems kind of weird to me. But that's DC for you. They like to screw stuff up, so they'll screw it up somehow. And Tom, you said you had some news you want to talk about.
Yeah, well, first, I didn't mention you guys off stage, but October Faction and Lock and Key just dropped on Netflix. I watched the first episode of Lock and Key. I'm about I watched like almost the whole first season of October Faction, but I was doing stuff, and so hey Mary, I noticed
new Princess Leia.
Oh yeah, new Pokemon.
Well, true with Pokemon.
Nice, very nice, very cool.
Thank you, Meredith.
Yeah, thanks, Mary. So those two shows dropped. I watched almost all October Faction, but I was doing stuff. So I was like, I got to rewatch a couple episodes just to kind of get back on track. Well, I went back to episode 2, and now I'm just rewatching it because it's that good. It's so good because I missed a lot. It was doing stuff. So I encourage people to check that out. And Lock and Key, I watched the first episode. A lot of differences from the comics. I read both these comics. These are two of my favorite comics out there. And big difference that they're going more in the, because it's horror fantasy. They're going more in the fantasy, and we'll talk more once we review it in the future about it. But it so far so pretty good. So I encourage you guys to check those out. But yeah, so some other news. Unfortunately, the character actor Orson Bean died at the age of 91 in Venice. He was struck by a vehicle. 91. He was walking across the street. He's still very active. You wouldn't guess he was 91. Just sad. He's been in a lot of shows as kind of like you'd recognize him if you saw him. I encourage everybody to do a Google search of Orson Bean because you'll know him as soon as you see him. Just sad. He was still active to this day, looked young and healthy and spry. He was out walking and got struck by a car. So 91 years of age. He is, most people remember him because he was like the shopkeeper in Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. Sad day. Another show coming out that I really want to watch is going to be on the new Apple streaming service is that Mythic Quest starring Rob I can never say his name, McElhaney. He's the creator, one of the creators of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He plays Mac in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's kind of a nerd into video games, stuff like this. This sort of looks like a nerdy show, maybe dealing with D&D and stuff. So if you guys get a chance, check that out. And I don't even know because this one's not really this one's not really a news bite. It was more just the backlash that Gayle King. I just took the note down about Gayle King getting backlash because she had mentioned something about Kobe Bryant's rape case in an interview with Lisa Leslie, and it's gone viral, and she's been getting a lot of backlash. Snoop Dogg's come out against her saying, "Don't talk about my boy like that." And the only reason I brought it up is if you watched our last episode, me and Roy had a pretty spirited debate about Kobe Bryant, and
end up winning because what happened later.
What's that? Well, and so we did, we may have glossed over some things and stuff. So, and Roy did not win. But yeah, she's getting backlash because she brought it up because. Going to my point, I guess we martyr everybody and can't bring up the fact that he was charged with rape. So But I
don't think it was that she brought it up. I think because she brought it up so quickly. That's what I was getting from when it originally happened.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It does seem like that, but
and I agree with that. It's something like the tragic happens. If Derek died tomorrow, I wouldn't say, "Yep," but he picked his nose every day. Can't
no.
do that. You know what I mean?
But and like Gail King feels really bad because the clip was taken out of context. It's like an hour and a half interview, and they took that one segment and made it like she was berating Lisa Leslie over it. And no, it was just a question, and she was just doing her job as a journalist, bringing it up. And and I understand that it is early. I even conceded to that last week that it's early, but in the same regards, when is it okay to start bringing up some of the bad stuff that some people, not just Kobe, anybody, I don't know. I don't know the answer. I'm throwing that out to everybody. When is it okay to look at a person and all their actions and not just their good ones after they die? I don't know. For everybody to decide. Anyway, I was tentative about bringing that up. I just wanted to because we had like a 25 minute debate last week, me and Roy, about Kobe Bryant, and not even about the charges. It was about, whether or not he should be the new logo or not. But it's and
well, I did win.
No, you did, and we should say that Roy had just said that he had an extramarital affair, which is that's really whitewashing the issue. They're saying it was an extramarital affair when he was charged with rape, and then it never went through. But he did settle and did actually say that he can see how she thought it might not be consensual. So kind of like a backhand.
That doesn't mean, and I'm not saying it was or it wasn't.
No.
It doesn't mean that he's saying that he raped her.
No, I know.
Right? You see it from someone else's perspective.
Yeah, but it's not saying he didn't either.
Right.
It's kind of one of those things. But just throw that out. We did. I didn't even notice it during the debate that we had just said it was actual. We didn't really go into there was charges. We had called it extramarital affair, and it was much more than just an extramarital affair. So,
well, perceived. It was no case. There was no trial for it.
Yeah, well, there was civil, and they had a civil case, and it was settled out. She got a lot of money because in a civil case you can only get money.
Right.
And she got a lot because he didn't want it to keep going. He settled. He was very willing to settle. So, but that's it's like you said, it doesn't necessarily mean he's guilty. Right. So it doesn't.
And I'm not even saying that he wasn't guilty. I'm just saying,
yeah, it doesn't. So.
But we actually have some on a lighter note.
Yes.
We actually have some comic book news. Derek, we're gonna have you do the comic book news today. Take it away.
Well, about comic books, when I talk about Comic Cons.
Comic books, Comic Cons, they have comic books there.
Do they have them at TerraCon?
Yes, they do.
I've never been.
They'll have some hard.
So, Altered Realities TerraCon is on June 13th and 14th at the Rhode Island Convention Center, and they've announced a few guests. They got Tyler Mane from Halloween, Ken DaCosta from Rise Up Paranormal, Scott Wolter from America Unearthed, Alex Vincent from Child's Play, Tim Weisenberg and Spooky South Coast Radio, and I'm probably going to butcher this name, Kadrolsha Ona Carroll.
Hey, nice job.
Queen of the Paranormal.
And I can say, as a paranormal investigator, I actually did an investigation with Tim Weisenberg on Halloween one year for his radio show, which was really awesome. Really nice guy.
That's awesome.
I met Kettle LaRocha at several conventions. Very nice woman. Pretty amazing. And Ken DaCosta, who is a demonologist, I met years ago, and we had a discussion about doing paranormal cases and when you run into something demonic. And he and his brother did that years ago. They were actually one of the original teams to actually investigate The Conjuring. They were the demonologists, pretty awesome people. And if you do go to Terracon, I advise everyone to go. It's produced by Altered Reality, which does Rhode Island Comic Con. It's the same people. And if you like scary stuff like horror movies and thrill of those horror TV shows, blah blah blah, check it out. It's a smaller convention, but not in a bad way. It's a great weekend. It's Saturday and Sunday. Check it out.
I can't wait. So excited.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out whether I'm going to volunteer or go as a guest, but I haven't seen anything about volunteering yet. So,
What if you do one day of each?
what?
One day as a volunteer, one day as a guest.
You can't when you're a celebrity liaison.
Well,
you can, but they want you there both days. But like I said, there's been nothing up about volunteering for it. So maybe they're not either going to pick certain volunteers or they're not going to have any. Who knows?
If you do get it, send it my way, because I don't know what I want to do either, because it's like I wouldn't mind volunteering, but I really want to go and experience it. So
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, maybe we should get together and just go.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Screw it, let's just go. And we'll talk off air about that because I had some ideas.
Cool.
But anyway, let's get into the review of Hereditary, guys.
Yeah. All right. So this week, guys, we reviewed Hereditary, 2018 supernatural horror film written and directed by Ari Aster. So last week we reviewed Midsummer, which was by Ari Aster, and that was his second movie. This is his first movie. So I kind of want. Lately, me and Roy have been kind of on this. We're both horror nerds, and we were talking about it off air last week. We both been kind of on a horror kick since about Christmas right now. It was funny. He sent me a text, and he goes, "There's nothing better than watching horror on Christmas night." And I was just like, he's right. And me and my girl watched one, and she's not into horror. She usually doing other things because she gets scared and everything. But yeah, so and I thought it'd be cool because Ari Aster, we did some Midsummer last week, and it's his first two films, and he's done a couple shorts, but these are his first two films, and some pretty great films. And on top of that, we've been, since the beginning, we've been kind of dissecting horror and how it's evolved over the years and the differences, and me and Roy have very different definitions as to what is horror and what is not horror, and the subgenre. Right. Yeah, Roy's always right, except he's not ever. But,
that's probably true too.
It's so I thought that'd be cool too to kind of have a discussion on the different, because I think they defined Midsummer as a folk horror, where this is defined as supernatural horror. And this is more along the lines of what people know as horror, not slasher, because that's a genre in itself, but this is more in the horror vein than sort of folk horror. You would watch this and you'd be like, oh yeah, this is a horror film. There wouldn't be a question as to, is this horror, is this thriller or suspense? No.
It's straightforward.
Yeah. And just quickly, and I don't, this definition isn't great, but it's what the definition for supernatural horror. I don't like it when they use the same words in the definition, but combines aspects of regular horror films and supernatural films. That's their definition. Not a great one. Dealing with ghosts, demons, afterlife, devils, demonic possession. Some examples of supernatural horror: It, Sixth Sense, Exorcist, Blair Witch, the Conjuring universe, essentially, with the Nun and all those movies. Other ones people might recognize: Poltergeist, Carrie, The Omen, Shining, The Grudge. Those are all kind of fall into that supernatural. Just wanted to give everybody a kind of idea of how they define it. So yeah, so the film was written and directed by Ari Aster. It was produced by Kevin Fracas, Lars Kunsen, and Buddy Patrick. The music by Colin Stetson. Cinematography by Powell Poger Zelski, and we're going to talk a little more about the cinematography later, right, Roy?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And it's produced by A24, Palm Star Media, Finch Entertainment, and Windy Hill Pictures, and it was distributed by A24. It was released, its initial release was January 1st, 2018 at the Sundance Film Festival. Then it had its theatrical release within the United States on June 8th, 2018, at a runtime of 127 minutes, or 2 hours and 7 minutes, and a budget of 10 million. You know, that's about average for a horror film. 10 million now. You know, that's not a ton, and as far as Hollywood.
I can't believe it didn't make more money though.
What's that?
It was such a good movie. I cannot believe it didn't make more money.
Well, it made at the box worldwide, it did about 80.2 million.
See, I thought it would have more. I would have said over 100 million.
Yeah, I would have thought so too, because it did 44 mil in the U.S. and Canada. And
yeah, Jesus, I'm surprised.
No, it's not a lot.
You got to look at what it competed with while it was in theaters.
Yeah, and I will talk about that in a second.
You're limp. Derek has gone limp.
So, 35.3 in the rest of the world, so bringing it in just over 80.2 million. Its opening weekend, it made 13.6 million. And to Derek's point, I'm glad you brought this up, Derek. So that's pretty good opening weekend for a horror film. 13.6. It finished 4th at the box office behind Ocean's 8, Solo story there, the Han Solo movie, and Deadpool 2. So there was some pretty big movies happening at the same time, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's a pretty good number. I mean, Deadpool 2 is, you know, a huge movie. So
that's only one though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ocean's 8 was a big movie too. I don't know what Solo did. I mean, I like Solo. What's that?
Gold bomb.
Did it?
Yep.
I know Ocean's 8 did well, even though it wasn't reviewed very highly. It did pretty well. You know, the sort of female version of the Ocean's 11 franchise.
I haven't seen that yet. I want to see that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either. I want to see it. But it was A24's best opening weekend. The company that distributed it. Jeez.
I thought
he was doing the Liberty Mutual commercial. Liberty
Bibbity. That's a good commercial. I like that commercial. Maybe I should come out of the water. So it was A24's best opening weekend, and on top of that, in its second week, it made 6.9 million, which was a 49.5% drop, which is actually, you know, it sounds like a lot when you say it out loud, 49.5. That's actually really good for horror films. Most horror films drop anywhere from 65 to 75% from opening weekend to the second weekend. And usually by the third weekend, they're wrapping up their run in the theaters. So it stayed pretty strong going in. And so we'll talk about the cast now. I liked the cast a lot. We had Toni Collette as Annie Graham.
Great actress.
Yes, she was excellent in this film. I thought she was excellent. She's very, when she turns it on, she's creepy.
Oh, really? Right?
You did. When she turns it on, man. So then we had Alex Wolff as Peter, the son, Peter Graham. We had Gabriel Byrne, who I like. He's been in a lot. Yeah, great actor. As Stephen Graham, Annie's husband and the father to Peter and Charlie. Then we had Millie Shapiro as Charlie Graham. Oh boy, she's creepy. This little girl, dude. Oh man.
How is she not having nightmares after filming this movie?
Oh, I do. I'm having nightmares just about her. She is creepy. Oh, she
Right?
was fantastic, man.
Man, she was awesome in this film.
She was fantastic.
Yeah.
Then one of my favorite actresses, Ann Dowd, as Joan. She's in Handmaid's Tale. She's just a great character actor, so strong. And she was just excellent in it. And then we had actually just interesting. Ari Aster had an uncredited voice cameo in it. During the movie, Annie's boss calls. You see, she gets a call from her boss to offer support about the tragedy. That's actually Ari Aster, the writer and director's voice. So I thought that was kind of cool.
It's very cool.
So, sorry guys, I'm just trying to think how I want.
I wish somebody called him and told him don't do Midsommar.
I liked Midsommar. I did. So
the first 20 minutes of it, then it went downhill. For me, anyway.
So I liked it. So the before we get into the review, had a pretty good critical response too. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 89% or 8.27 out of 10. Where Metacritic gave it an 87 out of 100. That's considered universal acclaim. Rolling Stone, Peter Travers from Rolling Stone gave it 3.5 out of 4 stars. That's pretty damn good. 3.5. And the AV Club gave it an A-. But all this critical response is high. What do you guys think the Cinema Score polled audience members? What do you think their the audience reception was?
Was it lower than the critics?
On a scale from A to F, or A plus to F.
I would say B plus.
Okay.
I would have said B-.
B minus. Audience reception was a D plus.
Really?
A D plus.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
By Cinema Score, they polled.
It must have been anime fans.
And
more better.
Whoa, did you hear that, Tom?
what's that? What do you say?
Said anime does horror better.
Oh, get out of here! Get out of here!
Well, you pick a good anime horror film. You haven't done that yet.
Yeah, please do.
You've been saying for weeks. Oh, I'll pick an anime horror. I'll pick an anime horror. He picks some soft porn thing.
Yes, exactly. It's him and his tentacle porn, man. all bad. But before I get into the review, I liked this little fun fact that I found about it, and I want to make sure I say it because I know once we get into the review, we're going to be conversing, and I don't want to forget this. So in Australia, it was a preview was accidentally shown before Peter Rabbit, the film Peter Rabbit. And the theater was full of families and over 40 children. And they saw this and it caused a panic, and, kids were freaked out because of the preview and stuff. It caused, there was almost lawsuits over it. And on top of that, it happened on Anzac Day or Anzac Day in Australia, in Western Australia. And that is essentially their Veterans Day. It commemorates all their fallen soldiers and all their wars. So it's similar to our Veterans Day. So thought it was, now I laugh. What's that?
Tell them to stop whining.
Well, I think, we can laugh now. I don't think any of the kids are permanently scarred from it. You know what I mean?
How old were these kids?
It didn't say, but I'm assuming all ages because it was all over 40.
That happened here. Kids are watching horror movies in this country at 10 years old.
Oh yeah, I did. I remember. I remember it. I remember going to the theaters at like 11, 12 with friends, and all you needed was your parents to buy you an R-rated ticket, and every parent was okay with it. They're just like, yeah. All right, so I saw 2 in the theaters. I saw Rambo. God, I saw Rambo 2 or 3 when I was like 6 or 7 in the theaters with my father and my cousin. It's
Yeah, it's
different times. Different times. We also didn't use seatbelts and helmets. So
yes.
it was a very different time then. God.
All the good old days.
Yeah, man. Seatbelts. Puh.
Seatbelts overrated.
Yeah. So let's get into the review. Sorry, I'm just switching.
Oh, yeah, Derek. Derek's hearing scratching noises.
Say it again.
Derek's hearing scratching noises.
Oh, really?
I think you see him think about his tentacle porn.
Sorry, I'm just pulling up my notes. I had a lot of notes for this.
Now, when do you guys think of the film over? Like,
yeah,
you guys envision it going the way it was?
Oh, don't know where they went. Roy was just in the middle of asking us a question, and so I don't know where he was going. We'll give him a couple seconds. Oh, here they are. Okay. No sound. No sound. Sorry, guys. He disappeared for a second. They came back, and their sound, and now they're muted or the sound's out. I mean, I always say muted, and then they get, oh, we're not muted. Well, same difference. You can't hear you. So, hopefully he'll figure this out in the next couple seconds. So, anyway, I'll keep going. I'll talk about the movie until they get back. So, the plot of the movie, it follows the Graham family. Annie Graham is the mother. She's a miniature artist. She creates like miniature homes, miniature furniture, all sorts of stuff. And they live in Utah. Her husband, Steve, and 16-year-old son, Peter, and the daughter, Charlie. The mother dies, so they have to go to the mother's house and go to the funeral. During this time, Annie speaks at it and delivers a eulogy. I can hear you guys, but I can't see you.
Well, that's only half the problem.
So she delivers a eulogy where she kind of talks about their family problems and their bad relationships and whatnot. And then we jump into the film. Steve gets a phone call and he finds out that the grave has been desecrated, unfortunately. So he has to deal with that. And Annie starts going to support groups. She says she's going to movies, but she's actually going to support groups. So, and she talks about like all the stuff, all the death in her family, and she opens up about the mental illness within the family, and that's why so many people are dying young, and the bad relationships and stuff. And this is where we're first introduced to Joan, who eventually befriends Annie. So fast forward, and Annie's home, and she's going to go out, and Peter wants to go to a party. He says he's going to a barbecue, but he's really going to a party with his friends. And Annie, you guys got sound? Hello?
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, Derek did something. I have no idea what he did, but he did something. All of a sudden, everything went black.
Maybe
Yeah, it went black. And I was like, okay, you're right in the middle of your question. It went black, and then you pop back up, and then there was no sound.
Audio's to the laptop.
And then you went away again, and then there was sound. So, do you want to get back to your question now? Because I was just doing like a poor. I kind of panicked and jumped into the review.
No,
and it wasn't going as well as I had planned. So, what was your question?
My question was, did you guys envision the movie going the way it went?
No, I didn't. I first of all, I have mentioned to you this when I first watched it. When I first watched the movie, I was like, oh, that ending. I don't like it. I don't like the ending. Hey, Linda, how are you? And but then I rewatched it and I really liked it. And but there was a lot of stuff. No, I did not expect it to happen. Why do you ask?
No, I just want to know what you guys thought.
Yeah. What about you, Derek?
So I was trying to figure out what kind of movie it was supposed, like what kind of things were supposed to happen in the movie. Like, was it supposed to be like how paranormal was it supposed to be? Like, was it like some kind of cult thing? Were they summoning demons? Was it ghosts?
Well, that's why I asked the question, because like to me at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I didn't expect cults and stuff, but go ahead.
Well, that was the whole thing. It's like at the beginning, to me, in my history of watching horror and other billions of I've seen, it started out to me as a ghost story at the beginning. Creepy to me, kind of a creepy house.
Yeah.
Ian Graham is a miniature artist.
Yeah.
Doll figures. That's creepy in itself.
Yes.
You know, who the hell does that for work?
Yes.
If you do that for work, shame on you. Get some help.
Or as a hobby, that's creepy.
Yeah.
I thought it was like therapy for her.
I'm like,
I think you're right, Derek. Though it was sort of therapeutic for her. I do think you're right.
I think she did it because of when she was abused by her mother, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah,
we'll get into that later, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I the way I saw it going was, it's going to be a typical possession movie. She's going to snap and start killing everybody in a good way. It turned into something totally different.
Yes.
That's why I wanted to bring it up. But anyway, go on with your story, Tom.
No, that was a great point, actually. And I think that's why I didn't like the ending at first. And then I actually really liked the ending because it was so unpredictable for me. Like, I thought the movie, it's a great point. I thought the movie kind of was going in a different direction. Yeah. And it surprised me, which is hard now with any movie, and especially in the horror genre. Because I've watched so many hours of horror in my lifetime that it's very hard for me to see something that surprises me or something that I think is kind of original. You know, it doesn't happen. So that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. So yeah, so I've got, and the miniature artist. I had just brought that up, how she's a miniature artist, and that is super creepy. It's just, I'm sorry. That's
when she was doing it, was she in a room or the attic or something?
Attic.
That was. Have you ever been in an attic? Those are creepy places.
Or was it the attic or was it a room? It was either. But either way, it was creepy. The room
was very creepy.
I don't think too. Like when the movie first started, it was creepy because it used the dollhouse to start the film.
Yeah. When I saw dolls, I'm like, oh, give me some ghosts and possessions here. Oh, Jesus, here we go.
Yeah, I agree. So, so back to it, and I'm just going to go real quick. Right now, I won't give any spoilers. Later on, there may be some spoilers as we talk a little more, but I'll just quickly go through kind of the plot points and everything. So I was at the point where Annie, where was it? Sorry. Oh yeah. So Peter wants to go to the party. He says it's a barbecue, blah, blah, blah. And Annie makes him take Charlie. And he doesn't really want to. Charlie doesn't want to go. I mean, it's really bizarre because, I mean, Charlie's a lot younger too. You know what I mean? I can see why he didn't want to bring her. I can see why she wouldn't want to go. And plus,
makes sense.
Yeah.
It seemed like a point in the movie where they're trying to make something happen, like push what happens later forward, and they didn't know how to do it.
See, what I think part of the problem was, it wasn't that 100% crystal. Like, he wanted to go to the party. He tells her it's a barbecue, but that should have been made into a bigger. He tries to make it like it's just a school barbecue. That's you know what I mean. That should have been a bigger point, because then it would have made a more sense. Oh, okay, school. Take your sister. You know what I mean? They should have made it a bigger deal that he was lying about the party,
right?
And they didn't. And I agree, because it's like, I didn't even notice until my second viewing that it was really, he had really said they were going to a school barbecue. You know, it was just like you said, it seemed forced. Like, okay, they need something to happen. They don't know how, so they're just sending the girl to the party with her older brother, who's like 3-4 years older than her. You know, so yeah, so they go to the party. We find out Peter's a pothead. Which woo,
he kind of looked like one to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
Said he kind of looked like one to begin with.
Yeah. Well, hey, don't make fun of potheads.
Potheads are my friends.
Yes. So he goes, and Annie's there. She doesn't want to be there, all this stuff. He tells her to eat some cake, go have some cake, because she loves.
Yeah. Hey, eat some cake.
Yeah. Well, she does love like chocolate, dessert stuff. Like you see that throughout the film, that she's, eating candy, stuff like that. So
Hershey candy bars.
it's So he tells her, and he goes into a room and he's smoking pot with some people. Well, she comes in the room and she can't breathe. Well, it turns out, and we knew this from early in the film, she's actually allergic to peanuts, and her throat starts closing up because there was peanuts in the cake, or peanut oil, or whatever it is. So they panic. Peter hops in his. So I'm trying to think if I want to give I'll see when I get to it. So they hop in a car, and Peter starts racing for the hospital, and she's clawing at her throat. She can't breathe. And so she goes and she sticks her head out of a window to try to get some air, and some bad stuff happens. Some real bad. I don't know how to go about this without doing a spoiler.
I'd give it a spoiler. They should have watched it by now. They did it all week. If you want to do it, go for it.
And it says it on the bottom.
All right. So she sticks her head out, and so he's driving real fast trying to get to the hospital so she doesn't die. And there's roadkill in the road. He swerves. Her head's out the window. She gets decapitated by a telephone pole. It is crazy. It is. When that happened, I was like, "Damn!"
Yeah, I did not expect that to happen at all.
I don't think anybody saw that.
I was shocked.
Yeah,
I was like, "Holy black Jesus!
Holy cow! Holy cow!"
The hero.
This was the point in the movie where they had me. Now I was like, "Yes, you got me. This is great." And so Peter, he is freaked out. And obviously his sister's just been decapitated. It's essentially his fault. And so he drives home, and he just leaves her body in the car, goes up, and goes to bed. You can tell he is destroyed. You can see he is destroyed. Great acting too.
Yeah, but who does that? Like
It is strange. It is strange.
How distraught you are. I'd be like, I'd run to the hospital. Like, I'm like,
he's probably also high from smoking the pot at the party.
No, he would have sobered up. That would have sobered him up in a second, dude.
Exactly.
That would, dude. I'm sorry. That's
crack.
Honestly, her with her throat closing up, that would have sobered him up.
Yep.
And then by the time he was driving and he swerved and that happened, trust me. I'm not saying I'm a pothead, but trust me. So
your adrenaline kicks in.
Yes.
And then because
exactly. I thought it was weird that he did that, but I put it more into the whole family with the mental illness and the guilt and stuff like that. I just
So you're saying he has some mental illness also?
Yes, as I saw it, and that's how I saw it, and I bought it. Even though it was weird, it didn't take me out of it personally.
Yeah, me either. It didn't take me out of it also. I thought it was strange.
Yeah, definitely strange.
It's a horror movie. Sometimes
most people would have probably just called the cops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From the scene, most people. He actually didn't do any of that. He just drove home.
He went home with the bed.
No, you even see her head there the next morning.
Yeah.
With flies all over it. So he goes home, and then next morning, Annie, the mother, finds it. And this sort of where the movie just really kicks into high gear. You know, she had already met Joan, and now Joan, you know, now her and Joan become friends.
Did you trust her?
What's that?
Did you trust her?
Joan, no, not right away. Right from the get-go. I knew something was off.
Don't talk to her. She's bad.
Yeah.
She is bad.
Yeah, right away I knew something was off by her.
Don't trust nice white ladies.
Yes. Plus, I just know her as an actress, and she always plays sort of like creepy parts.
She does, doesn't she? That is true. I never thought of that, but she does.
So, and she was my favorite. Her and Charlie were my two favorite in here. And
she's a really good actress.
Yeah. So they become friends. Then I want to just blast through the rest of this so we can actually talk. You know. But jump in, please, if I miss something.
Oh, I'm going to.
So they become friends. Then Joan invites her over to the house, says she needs to show her something. She does like a seance and shows her that she's communicating with her dead husband and dead family member, or dead son, sorry. You know, she, you know, says it's them, and that you see stuff, all this crazy stuff happening. So now Annie she has this light bulb goes off, and she can communicate with Charlie and all this stuff. She goes home. She shows Peter and Steve, the husband. You know, she makes them go down. They do a seance, and you know, it freaks Peter out. A fire starts. It starts getting violent. A glass gets thrown across the room.
He starts whining like a little baby.
Yeah, he did. He did.
My God.
It was this point later in the movie. He's crying again, and he's crying and mommy. But then again, I mean, imagine some of this shit happening to you. I don't know. I don't. You know, it's got to be pretty tough, especially what happens later on.
You know, that wasn't really that bad, though, what was happening. I mean,
no.
Yeah, you know, it was paranormal stuff happening, but it was like they're trying to contact his sister that he killed.
Yeah, I think more of it was about the guilt. You know, that's what I took from it. That it was more about the guilt, but I could be wrong. That's just how I interpreted it.
How about you, Derek? How did you interpret it? Or did you?
There was a lot going on with all the characters in this one, but
I want a specific scene.
The mom got possessed, so that's probably what freaked him out the most about that seance.
Yes. I'm glad you said that too. Yes, the mom gets possessed by Charlie and starts speaking in Charlie's voice. So keep going, Derek. Go ahead.
I think like that's where he really started losing it.
Yes,
I think he was fine for when the glass moved because like he was surprised, but then the mom started getting more hysterical because the husband wanted nothing to do with it anymore at that point, and then the next thing you know, she's possessed, and then
it goes back to what Tom said that he thinks maybe from the guilt.
Yeah, and just so I'm glad you brought this up, Derek. So the glass gets thrown, goes across the room and shatters. He starts to get worked up at that point because I just rewatched it before before our show, and then the candle, you know, the big flame. Now he's getting more freaked out. Then she goes into the Charlie's voice, so because Charlie maybe is possessing her. That's when he just loses it. So I'm glad you did bring that up. So that was sort of the progression of him freaking out during that scene.
I don't know if you were gonna bring this up or not.
Go for it.
But like throughout the movie, more as the story goes along, the mom was saying like she used to sleepwalk. She sleptwalked into the son's room once.
Yep.
Pretty much almost killed her and him.
Yes, I was gonna
set them on fire.
Yes.
So do you think like she's actually sleepwalking, or do you think she's been possessed every time she's doing this?
See, that's a good question. My initial thought, and I think it's still my thought, is that as you find out later in the film, that she was probably possessed, and it's you know, partly, you know, I will find out that her mother's fault, and partly that. At the time when you first hear the story, it just sounds weird because the story that Derek's alluding to is we find out that that she one night the kid, both Charlie and Peter, wake up and they're covered in paint thinner, and as well as her, they're covered in paint thinner, and she has struck a match, and she's about to set them all on fire. And when she strikes the match, she wakes up, and she is like, they can't accept the fact that I was sleeping, which seems crazy, because I'm sorry, if any of you woke up and your mother was if you were covered in paint thinner and your mother's standing over you and with a match, what are you all going to do? I'm going to freak the F out.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's no rational explanation for it.
Yeah, she's crazy.
Sleepwalking or
Crazy
not,
or
man.
possessed, one of the two.
You're not going to believe that she's sleepwalking.
Sleepwalking or not, man, that's
Sleepwalking,
creepy.
you know, I don't think you'd be striking a match necessarily, but I would say she's either crazy or possessed.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up. So yeah. So yeah. So we have that happen. You know, the husband Steve, he's getting more and more frustrated with her now because he's seeing how much the son is tore up and everything. And to end that scene, he actually had, because he's just Peter's screaming and crying and whatever. He throws water on her, and she snaps out of it. She comes back, and it's Annie again, and she's like, "What happened? What happened?" They explain to her, and she's kind of actually mad that they snapped her out of it because she just wants to, be able to experience her daughter again. God,
if you guys think she's possessed. So do you think the water snapped the demon to go back deep into her subconscious? Or do you think the demon was just playing with her, or whatever it is possessing her?
I think the demon's playing with her. I really do, because I don't think water would just make a demon retreat far inside her.
That's what I mean. I don't think she was possessed. My personal opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think she was possessed until a little later in the film.
Well, she was definitely possessed by the.
Oh yeah, that's a given. Yeah.
Yeah. So just explain real
quick. Wrong too.
So if you don't think she's possessed, then what do you think? I'm sorry.
Well, I don't think there's a thing. I think that she has at this point she has mental issues, and
so you think she's like schizophrenic?
Yeah, probably something to do with that.
Okay.
It's just with his mental issues in their family. I'm leaning more toward that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Now we don't know what happens, obviously. Yeah. I'm not even saying I'm right. I'm just saying just because of that scene, because I was wondering that too when that scene happened.
Yeah.
When she the water, she took her out, I'm like, I wouldn't, as a paranormal investigator, and I've never experienced a demonic case.
Yeah.
But from hearing stories from other investigators and seeing, stuff on TV or whatever, which isn't always real. It doesn't seem that simple to get rid of a demon.
Or do you think maybe just like story hole or whatever you want to call it, just happened to be a bottle of holy water? Just happened to have holy water lying.
Well, you do know it doesn't have to be holy water. It just has to be blessed water.
It could have been blessed water.
Maybe it was blessed. Who blessed it? Go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry.
No, I'm glad you guys are bringing all this up. This is great. This is awesome. So,
come on, Linda. You have a lot to say about this. Where's Linda?
Yeah. So he douses her, and she gets back to being Annie. And now at this point, Annie starts suspecting that Charlie's spirit might be a little evil or malevolent, and so she throws the Charlie's sketchbook into the fireplace, and all of a sudden her sleeve catches on fire. So she puts it out, takes it out, whatever, and she heads over to Joan's house to see what the deal is, because Joan had introduced her to the seance. Joan's not there, but she noticed it.
So sorry, Tom. Yeah. One reason why I don't think she was possessed, because a demon wouldn't have thrown anything they could use against them into the fire.
Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair. So she goes to Jones, and Jones not there, and then she notices the welcome mat looks exactly like her mom's embroidery.
I know, Linda, but I was hoping no one would notice. They didn't pick it up. Thanks for nothing, Linda. The one thing she says,
I know.
of all the things she could have said, the one thing she says. Who invited her?
Oh man.
I'm telling your husband.
So she notices the welcome mat looks like her mom's embroidery craft work, so she goes back home and she starts, rifling through the house or all her mother's stuff, and she finds a photo album, and she starts seeing photos of Joan and her mom together. So now she knows something's up, because Joan just seemingly came up to her unprovoked, and and just didn't know her and everything like that. And now she's seeing that her mom and Joan are friends. And on top of that, these pictures are creepy, and there's other it appears to be a cult, and it's crazy. It just, pretty weird stuff. So then Annie grabs a sketchbook, asks Steve to burn it. So he throws it into the fireplace. Sorry guys, I'm trying to condense my notes as I'm going. Throws it into the fire, and then he just poof.
Oh, I thought he couldn't do it, so Annie ripped it out of his hands and threw it in herself.
Oh, is that what happened? Steve, hang on, I'm trying to read my notes. Steve sees Ellen's body, but as soon as when Annie throws, oh yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm glad you said that.
Right about something? How the hell that happened?
No, that's good pickup.
You watch the movie?
I know, that's
Holy
weird.
Jesus!
I stayed awake. God damn it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, he doesn't throw it. She grabs it, throws it in. He burns, and then she immediately becomes possessed. Peter wakes up. We left out some stuff that had happened to Peter at school. You guys can watch that. It's not that integral. He wakes up and he finds his father's body all charred. So, and then he sees a nude man.
With his junk hanging out.
So, and then all of a sudden he starts hearing something, and he sees his mom starts chasing him, and this gets real creepy now. His mom chases him up into the attic.
Why would he let her do that?
Well, not only that, I think it's like the creepiest thing in the movie, because like as he's waking up from knocking himself out in school that day, he's starting to gather like where he is, like what happened, and you just see the mom chilling in like at the corner of the ceiling, like a bat or something, just like waiting for him to move or something.
And then he lets her chase him up the attic. There's many places he can go. He goes to the attic. Like, dude, what are you thinking? Anyway.
Yeah. It's stereotypical horror.
When you're chased by a crazy mother, do not go to an area where you're trapped.
But at the same time, you're panicking.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough. And on top of that, the mom chases him. He shuts the door, and then it shows her, and she's just smacking her head like, oh god, so fast. And I thought that was just creepy in itself.
I thought she was I thought she was just banging it with like her hands or her feet or something, and then they show us like her head. I'm like,
yeah.
The movie hits the proverbial fan at this point.
Yes,
it just goes batshit crazy.
Yeah,
it's like, holy Jesus, the demons are pissed now. You know?
Yeah, like that's great. It does hit the fan. It's kind of like this movie's going along at like 65 miles an hour the whole time.
Good Yep.
And then all of a sudden we get to the point, where the father bursts into flames, and then it just goes to 100 miles an hour for the rest of the movie. So. And that's what I was thinking, Linda, that they all go into the attic or the basement. It's like you kind of need that for the movie to keep going and stuff. So but it is very cliche too. I understand.
When we do our movie, We're not going to the attic or the basement. We're going to Derek's house.
Yeah,
That's probably worse.
that's creepy enough. Creepy enough. But yeah, the mom smacking her head just over and over, like super fast, is just that scene itself was creepy to me. So he's up there, and you've seen all the flies because there was a dead body. I left that out there because I left some stuff out because this is going long, guys, and so you should watch it.
People.
Definitely check it out. So then he looks up. There's the dead body, and then there's just naked people looking and kind of like waving at him. So he runs and he just dives out the window. Probably the most sane thing he's done in a while is jump out that window, even though it's pretty insane to jump out a window on the top floor. But so then we kind of assume he dies or he's at least very hurt. And then all of a sudden, some sort of eerie music's playing, and he gets up, and it's is he levitating at this point?
No, I think he's walking.
Yeah,
he's walking. All right, okay. He's walking, and he goes back up to the attic, right?
Wasn't it the treehouse?
Yeah, I think it was the treehouse or whatever.
Oh, you're right. It was the treehouse. And the cult is all there, and this is
naked glory.
Yes, they're all naked.
The director likes nudity in groups.
He does.
Yeah, because in Midsommar too. So and then he goes up to the cult's there, and do I give away the ending, or do I let? And so it's there, and they're all saluting him, and we find out that his body is the host for Pyman. He's one of the heads of hell. There, he's actually a god of mischief. It shows earlier in the film. If you quickly in a book, it shows him as the god of mischief, but he's one of the leaders of hell. And now he is in Peter's body, which was supposed to be the whole time, but the mother had screwed up, and it was accidentally in Charlie's body, and that's why the girl was kind of as creepy as she was, and she had died and all that stuff. And he's Pyman. And then the final shot is essentially, well, not essentially, it's a shot of the treehouse, but it's done as one of Annie's miniatures. So it's super creepy because me and Roy already talked about how miniatures are freaking creepy. So and that's it. I left out a lot, but I told you a lot too.
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
Why did Pyman want to be in a male body? Why did it have to be a male body? That was the whole point. They wanted him. The plan was to get him into a male body.
Yes, and I that's a good question. I had thought just because it seemed like Pyman was a male, that's what I had put together. But it could be that just very basic and probably not it. But that's how I just made it make sense in my head. Why?
In most movies, it doesn't. The demon doesn't care what body they're in.
Yeah.
If I'm in hell.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like so picky.
Yeah.
Get the fudge out of hell.
They're not that picky in Supernatural what body they're in.
Exactly. Thank you. Great series, by the way. Watch Supernatural. It's ending this season.
That's
one of the greatest TV shows ever for Supernatural shows. One of the greatest ever.
I think Roy's surprised I actually watched that.
I'm shocked you actually watched that. Tom doesn't watch it, and I'm totally amazed he doesn't.
I will eventually. I will. That's
Anyway.
I'm glad you brought that up because that is actually a good question. Why does it have to be a male? It's not clear.
Yeah, it was determined. Like the whole point was like they want him in a male body. I'm like, I wonder why.
But specifically, why did it have to be the son? Why couldn't it have been any male body?
Well, this is all obviously weak individual whining and crying at his sister's death that he killed. That bugged me. Him whining. Oh my god.
It was a little much. Like I said, the point. where the mom's smacking her head and he's up there and he's crying, and then he just starts saying "mommy." That did start to bother me when he's saying "mommy" now.
Really? It's like,
And,
go Zach. You know she's possessed. You know she's not your mother.
yeah.
Get your ass up, dust yourself up, and get the hell out of there.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. So, I know we're going long, but that's okay. We had some issues. Plus, it's our show, and we can go as long as we want. So,
that's right. We'll go 5 hours. We'll go 5 hours, people.
you know,
It
but
won't happen, but we could.
One day.
Yeah.
holy cow, it's 5:45. So,
Tom being quiet.
So we had talked beforehand. You had wanted to talk a little bit about the cinematography, and I had made a note about the cinematography. One thing that I liked about it in the film, and it just
That is not true, Linda.
So you one thing that I liked, and it only happens a few points, but I always like it when they get creative with cinematography, and they used it really. Some tricks to sort of disorient people and give a disorienting feel to it, whether or not it's like, it's showing somebody like walking and leaving a room, and then all of a sudden it looks like it's upside down. The camera's upside down, and it just kind of disorients you. Or like the mom banging her head and the angle that they used there. The way they shot it at the angle, it really helped that creepy effect to it.
I thought the exact same thing.
Yeah, I really like when you can use cinematography, like especially that disorienting effect, like where some movies do it so well that you'll almost feel sick to your stomach because they disorient you so well that you're starting to feel like even motion sick. And I thought they did that pretty well in a few points. What do you think, Roy, or what did you want to talk about?
I totally agree to 100%. Like I loved in the attic when she's hanging herself in the attic.
Yes.
I love the angle of that.
Yeah.
That was so, to me, a unique angle.
Yeah.
Or which was levitating, the angle of that.
Yeah.
The angles were just so well done. And in big scenes.
Yeah.
The levitation scene was a big scene when she's hanging herself and she's cutting herself with the wire.
Yeah, the piano wire.
Yeah. Big scenes, and what I took from that was like, oh my god, that's so cool.
That's such a great point too. Yeah, the angles. That's such a great point. Doing sharp angles like that too. It adds to the heart. Like if something's sharp, you know what I mean. It's weird to say, but how you view stuff is how you perceive stuff in your brain. And like a sharp and a hard angle, it's creepier, you know what I mean, in your brain and stuff. That's a great point. It just enhances the overall experience of it, and just makes for it really cool. Did you want to say anything else about the cinematography?
Nope. Just that I gave the cinematography an 8 because I thought it was so well done.
Yeah, I'd give it an 8 too, if not higher, personally.
Yeah.
So what'd you all think of the cast?
I love the cast.
Did you?
I thought it was a good group of actors.
I did too. What about you, Derek?
That girl was creepy as fuck.
Yeah, right? The little girl.
Especially when she decides she's gonna go walk over and cut the head off the pigeon with a pair.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, she is such a good little actress.
Like, what's the point of that? I was
like Tom said, like she was creepy. Like she was creepy.
Yeah.
She was happy to have the pigeon head.
she was not any kind of worried about it at all. I was like, good. She kind of just shrugs it off. Like, yeah.
Did they ever pay that off? Did they ever do anything? Did she ever do anything with the head?
No.
So
that she was,
because I had forgotten about it. I remember when I first watched it, I'm like, what is she going to do with that? And then so much stuff happens that I just forgot about it.
You don't wonder if there were scenes that they cut out for whatever reason.
That's what I'm thinking.
There'll be a longer version coming out at some point.
Yeah, like a director's cut.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I loved the cast. Like I said, Ann Dowd's one of my favorite. Toni Collette, she is just a very strong actor. And Gabriel Byrne. And then getting introduced to Millie Shapiro. I know she's been in other stuff. And Alex Wolff. Even though he was annoying, I still thought he was a good actor.
Yeah.
Like, even though I found the crying annoying, I found it believable.
Oh. in spite of the whining,
Yeah.
I loved him as a character.
Yeah.
Which I don't say that very often. I
Yeah.
do not believe I do not say that very often when someone's whining like that. But yeah, he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
Like, he pissed me off so much. I wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
Because he's a good actor.
So, before we get into our final thoughts and stuff, now last week we reviewed Midsummer, and this, his second film. This was his first film, Ari Aster. Any comparisons you want to make, thoughts, or tear them apart, or anything about that between the two?
I thought this film was more of what the Midsommar would be about. Not in this format, obviously, because it's a folk horror film.
Yeah.
But I thought it'd be more of a straightforward, in the fact that they changed it because he, like I said, he or somebody else was in a bad relationship and it ended, and they decided to change it around. I don't fault him for that, because artists do that. That's what they do. They go on what they know and what they're feeling sometimes. And for me, it just didn't work. This was, if that movie didn't happen, I'd be like, oh, we have a star brewing on our hands.
I mean, I definitely feel like this was better than the Midsommar.
Yeah, and maybe in 5 years from now, I might go back and watch Midsommar and be like, all right, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But right now, it's like, nope. This he does more of this stuff. I'll be a big fan. What about you, Tom?
I liked them both, and I did. I mean, you guys know, I like Midsummer. This I think was better for sure. First of all, I mean, these being your first two movies, this guy's got a pretty bright future, in my opinion. I'm going to cut you off, but because I mean not liking Midsommar, I do agree. As far as a director, writer, I mean, this guy's going to be around for a while.
Where there's an audience for Midsommar. There's definitely an audience.
Yes.
I mean, it just wasn't for me. I don't want anyone to think, oh, well, I hate that movie because it's a horrible movie. No, it's just not my kind of horror. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah.
And it was done really well for that genre.
Yeah.
I've never probably will be a folk horror fan. I'm an earthy, crunchy person to begin with.
Yeah.
I say cut all the trees down. No, I don't. I'm just kidding. I don't say that at all. But yeah, it's just not my kind of film. That's all.
Yeah, no, I that's fair. Yeah, I like I said, I liked them both. This one I liked a little bit better. This one is definitely more traditional horror. You know what I mean? Compared to the other one. If you're not a huge horror fan, this is more what you expect out of a horror film compared to Midsommar. Midsommar it's very different. It's me and Roy even debating whether or not it's horror or not. You know what I mean? Just because and we've been doing this for a while now. What is horror? What's not? You know what I mean? We have different definitions. I really like both. Like as soon as you had said that you were doing Midsommar, I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing Hereditary next because I just want to, talk about both. Like I said, this guy, in my opinion, he's got a pretty bright future in within the horror genre or in movies in general. I mean, I thought these were two very, very, very strong films. You usually either your writer's first film maybe not as strong because they still haven't really found their voice or how they're adapting to the screen. These are both just really, really good, really good. So before we get into final thoughts, final grades and everything, anything else you want to talk about the movie?
It's a very good movie. Everyone should get off their asses and watch it. It's a really good film.
I agree. All right. So, final. Okay. 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, what are you giving it, Derek?
I would give it a 7.5.
That's higher than I thought you would. Honestly, I know how it's not really a thing. So
like that is the genre that I like, though. When I do watch them, I do like the ones that are
Supernatural.
supernatural.
yeah.
Okay. Nice.
The other creepier.
Is that like some of the stuff like that happened like I didn't see coming, like the opposite happened, like because they led with like, oh, she put the book in the fire the first time and she caught fire, so when she threw it in the fire the second time, wasn't expect the husband to catch fire and burn like twice as fast or like 10 times as fast as she did.
Yeah.
Did you like the paranormal movies?
Huh?
Did you like the paranormal movies?
The Paranormal Activity ones?
Yeah.
Yes, but I think I may have missed the last one.
I don't think it's the last one either, actually. I think one more came out, and the last one was so horrible. I'm like,
it was going, but then it got a little weird.
So I'm going to get to your grade in a second, Roy. So I'm glad you brought up Paranormal Activity, which is kind of that found footage and supernatural it kind of combined.
Mm-hmm.
Out of like sort of, horror has been so wide now and encompasses so many different styles.
It's like a tree.
What sort of horror is your least favorite, Roy? Like folk horror?
Yep. Not a question.
I think mine now is, even though I still will watch them all the time, is the torture porn or the gorno or whatever you want to call it. I think that is my least favorite. It maybe found footage. Like I like some found footage. Like the first Blair Witch was like, I remember when I saw that in the theaters because there was no found footage films back then.
Yeah.
Now they've just been done to death. But I feel like like I said,
it's so easy to do too. That's the problem with it, I think.
What's that?
Found footage is so easy to do.
Yeah.
And I must say it's literally easy, but if you're a director, or if you went to school for it, you could easily do a found footage film.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, what about you, Derek?
I probably couldn't, but
see, like I'm not diverse into the horror genre as you guys.
You're not diverse at all.
No. So I probably only know like a couple of the topic ones, but based on like last week's, I would say probably the folks.
The folk horror? That's fair. Yeah, I just never been huge on the torture porn. Like I said, everybody's got a different name for it. I've heard gorno, between gore and porno.
So do you put Saw in that category?
What's that?
Do you put Saw in that category?
Saw, yeah, exactly. Saw is one of them. And I like some of the Saws, but I mean, God, there's like 400 now, so it's just
do an episode.
Aren't they rebooting it?
We should do an episode
Probably.
of discussing this.
Yeah. So I agree. I would love to. I would love to just break down horror and talk about, you know what I mean, and talk about it. All right. Wow, we're at an hour and 20 minutes. Roy, grade 8. Yeah. 1 to 10. Scale 1 to 10.
8.5.
8.5.
Yep.
7.5. My final is 8.5. Really liked it. Really, really liked it. Thought it was a great film. So, yeah.
All right, so let's. I thought it was a great film. Awesome pick, Tom. So next week, Derek, what are you reviewing?
You guys like video games?
I do.
Actually, I've actually been playing my PS4 recently. Actually,
nice.
I've been playing Battlefield.
I was gonna pick Ready Player One.
Nice.
I was gonna intrigued by that, and I just haven't.
When you sent it last night, I was like, sweet. It's like been on. I've been just trying to find an excuse to watch it.
Yeah. Well, there's those movies where it's like I'll watch it at some point.
Yeah.
And then things happen. I figure, then I'll see. I'm like, I want to watch that, and then things happen. I don't do it. And it's like, oh.
Yeah. And
now it's like, cool. I get to watch it.
Yeah. Nice. I'm excited.
All right. So everyone, tune in next week for Ready Player One for our review by Senior Denick. So thanks for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Comment on this video. Tell us what you thought about Hereditary. Tell us what movies you want us to review. Or tell us how awesome Tom's hat is. We want to hear from you guys. So for Tom, Derek, and myself, have a geeky, great day.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good weekend.